I usually start class in a seated position, but today we're going to focus on the hips, the lower back, and the legs. So let's start in child's pose. This is a great way to kind of gauge where our hips are, to gauge our lower back. So you can take the blanket and you can lay it out for some extra support under the knees, that little bit of extra padding, or you can just come into it. So child's pose, we can have our knees in line with our hips, or you can take the knees out to the edge of the mat and bring the big toes together. It's really going to be up to you. When you open up the knees, it helps with the hips a little bit. And then take it nice and easy. So relax the hips towards the heels, and then you relax the upper body so the torso lays on the thighs. And then rest the head on the mat. Or if it doesn't reach, you could stack your fists, or you could use your blanket or a block or just your palms. But take a moment here. Check in with your body. So maybe you shimmy the hips from side to side and you kind of feel where your body's at. You might notice that you're feeling a little bit of tension in that hip area or the lower back, and we're going to work on releasing that today. So take a few breaths here. If your knees are in line with your hips, you have another option to bring the arms around the side of the legs and have your palms facing the sky by your feet. That might help you relax the upper body a little bit more. Completely up to you, but the goal is to really listen to your body, move in a way that feels good throughout this session, and try to let that energy flow freely through the spine and the hips and the whole body. Take in a couple of more breaths here. We're going to inhale and come up, so moving nice and slow. We'll bring our knees under our hips, wrists under shoulders. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Try to get a stretch through the hands by pressing every inch of your palm into the mat. Unlock the elbows. Push out of the shoulders. And from here, we have those variations we can choose by relaxing the belly down and looking up slightly. Exhaling, chin to chest, navel to spine, hunching and rounding the back. Now we can keep moving with that, looking up on the inhale and back on the exhale. Or we can move into that neutral position and then tilt the hips from side to side. You could do a big circle, drawing the hips towards the heels and then around, and then go the other direction. But we're going to take a few more breaths here. Moving in whatever way feels good. Just listen to your body. Maybe you pause and hold one of the stretches for a little bit longer. But just listen in. How does your spine feel right now? How does your lower back feel? How are your hips if you're twisting from side to side? 2 more breaths. Taking that weight off the hands, we'll come back to neutral. Reach the palms out a little bit and then push back. Find a stretch through the upper back here. So reaching through the arms, we're thinking about letting our hips fall towards our heels, but we're getting just a really nice stretch. And then we'll slowly come up, back onto all fours. Starting with a stretch through the legs, find your neutral position, check in on those palms, and then reach the right leg back. Look back at your foot, spread the toes nice and wide onto the mat. Push into that heel by pushing out of your palms. And try to feel that the weight is even from big toe to little toe. If we change that weight, you'll feel a change in the stretch in the back of your leg. And the goal is to find a stretch through the hamstring and the calf. Listening in, how does it feel? Can you push a little bit more? Do you want to ease off? 2 more breaths. And then back to center, release. And we're going to move into the other side. So find that neutral position. Left leg goes back, check and look. How'd you do? Expand those toes. Push out of the palms, push into that left heel. Feel the weight even side to side. Nice deep breaths. Remember, our spine is in a neutral position. That focus really is on that extension through the leg. And we're going to take 2 more breaths. And then we'll release. Come back to center. Again, big stretch through the front or the back of the body. Arms reach out and then push back. So reach through the arms, taking that pressure off the palms, finding a stretch through the lower back, all the way up through the shoulder blades and the lats, taking that pressure off the palms. And then release. Coming up, we're going to come and lay on our bellies. So however you want to get there, you can go to the forearms first, a little bit of a challenge, and then stretch out, or just lay down in whatever way feels good. Coming all the way down to the belly, elbows out to the side. You could rest on your forehead. You could turn to one side or the other, but take a moment, find a nice neutral spine here. We're getting that. Relax fully. Check in on the alignment of your hips. Do you feel level from side to side? Taking 2 more breaths in this neutral position. We're going to bring our arms then into that cactus or field goal post so that the arms are at 90 degrees, elbows in line with the shoulders, palms press into the mat or the ground. We're going to take our right elbow, our right knee towards our right elbow, bringing it up as high as is comfortable, and let the inside of the foot be on the ground. Now you can have your head in a neutral position. You could look the opposite direction, or you could look towards your right elbow. Choose whatever feels best and take a few breaths here. Try to relax both feet. Relax through the upper body, and then just let that gravity help, and having the floor here assist in opening up through the hips. Two more breaths. And we'll slowly draw that foot back. Find that neutral position. Take a breath or two here, and then we'll move to the other side. So left knee to left elbow. Inside of the foot is on the mat. Pressing into the palms, nice neutral position through the upper body. And nice deep breaths. Relax both feet. And choose the head position that feels best for you, be that looking towards the left side, neutral, or that little bit of a twist to the opposite direction. Completely up to you. Your goal is to have your body relax naturally through every position today. Just try to gently. And then release. Draw that leg back. Realign your position. Make sure you have enough about hips distance apart, maybe shoulder width. And we're going to draw our heads neutral. And then we're going to lift up just a little bit. Think about lifting through the chest. You might squeeze through the glutes to give yourself a little bit more stability to lift up a little bit higher. One more breath and then release down. You can release if that feels good. Taking a breath and then hands back to the chest. Lift up, push out of the mat. Thinking about lifting the chest and grounding through the hips. And then relax the upper body. And then last one, hands to the chest area. Pushing into the palms, lift head, neck, and shoulders. Chest off the ground. Nice big lift and then release. Relax the arms to a comfortable position. And we're going to push back into child's pose. So however you want to get there, you can push out in a small cobra first, then come up. Hips to heels. Big stretch through the lower back. Relax the upper body again. Nice deep breaths. Feel the belly expand into your thighs. Notice the difference that you already feel in the body. Inhale, we'll come back onto all fours. Realign your position, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Reach out with the palms one more time. Stretch through the back. Hips towards the heels. And then back to neutral. Coming into our pigeon pose, we'll draw our palms forward a little bit. Right knee towards right wrist. Curl back those left toes and push the heel and shimmy that foot back if you can make some extra space. From here, we can rock side to side if that feels good. We could take that right foot and draw it in towards the center and then come down onto the forearms. Or if it's feeling really intense, you can take that blanket and you can fold it up and put it underneath your hip for that extra stability. It's going to be completely up to you. We're going to stay and take a few breaths. So find a position that's comfortable, but also allowing you to stretch. Maybe you rest the torso on the thigh and the head on the mat. Or maybe you take that blanket for extra support. And try to release the hip area by taking those deep breaths all the way down to the belly. Relaxing the body. Few more breaths here. You might start feeling a tingling sensation of the energy moving around. If it ever becomes too intense, bring those hands back up and we'll go into child's pose. 2 more breaths. First, we draw our hands underneath our shoulders. Then we push up slightly. And we're actually going to curl those toes back and reverse this. So come forward with that left knee. Bring the right knee back. We'll come into that child's pose position for a couple of breaths, evening out the body. If you'd like, you can keep those palms out long and find a stretch through the spine. And then inhale, we'll come up. This time left knee to left wrist. Curl back the right toes on the mat. Push that heel back, extra space, relax the foot. Keeping that heel under the hip, you can shimmy from side to side. You could get that extra stretch by bringing the foot in towards center. And then the option is there again, down to the forearms or reaching all the way out. Completely up to you. Torso rests on the thigh. Finding a relaxed position with the head. And deep breaths. Try to find your hips in a neutral position. And the goal is to let the upper body relax fully as we open up the hip area. Couple more breaths. And then if you're laying on the mat, you draw those palms back towards the shoulders. Push up. Bring that right toes underneath so you can bring that knee forward. Relax the foot. Left leg comes back. Child's pose one final time. Again, that option is there to stretch out long through the arms or relax fully. Notice the change in your body. Feel the belly expand into the thighs with every breath. And as you exhale, try to soften through the lower back. And then slowly come up on the inhale. And we're going to turn and stretch those legs out nice and long. Moving nice and slow. Take a moment. Move the thighs. Find the sit bones. Bend the knees a little bit. Just take a second here, lifting through the crown of the head. Finding that connection to the earth. We'll take an inhale and we'll lift the arms up. Exhale, folding from the hips. You can reach for the feet or bring the arms underneath the knees, whatever feels good. And just take a few breaths here. We bend the knees to bring the focus to our lower back, taking it easy as we spend so much time facing down towards our mat in the beginning of this session. Two more breaths. And then release. Inhale, come up. If you can, stretch those legs out nice and long. If it's hard to have a nice straight spine with the legs stretched out, take your blanket, roll it up, and bring it underneath your knees. This will help. This will allow you to stretch through the back of the legs, but also have that great alignment. Take one more breath here, lifting through the crown of the head, and then we'll do another forward fold. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, think about folding from the hips and let the arms land wherever they hit. Don't overextend and round the back. Maybe you're touching the shins or the knees. And then inhale and come up. We're going to notice the difference here in a moment. So we're going to bring our right foot in towards our thigh. Press the right foot into the left thigh. Curl back those toes. This gives us a solid base so we can sit up nice and tall for the inhale. And then we exhale and we just fold forward towards that left foot. You might notice that just having one leg extended allows you to fold a little bit more. You might notice that when we switch to the other side, one side is easier or harder than the other. When we focus on folding from our hips and not rounding in our back, we open up that lower back. We find that great stretch through the hamstring, and then we can just relax the head. All right, let's do one more. Inhale up, and then other side. So right leg goes out, left foot comes in, pressing into the thigh. Draw those right toes towards you. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold towards that right foot. Again, maybe you're touching the knee or the shin or the ankle or the toes. Every day is different. Goal is a nice straight spine, hinging forward from the hip area. Check in on that right foot, still engaged, drawing those toes towards you. One or two more breaths. Noticing the difference from side to side. And then inhale, come up. Relax that left foot a little bit, and we're going to draw the right one to meet it first. So nice butterfly stretch here. Feet are together. Again, the goal is to have that length through the spine, so we can sit on a blanket. That may help. We have three options. First and foremost, we can relax everything up and then press and stand up or sit up nice and tall on the exhales. We could hold and just stay here, or we can fold and use the elbows to press into the knees or calves and then bring the hands around the feet. But again, avoid that rounding in the back. Nice straight spine. Every day is different. We're just learning to acknowledge and accept where we are. Working with what we have today, taking a few more breaths, thinking about folding from those hips or having that nice straight spine as we inhale and relax and exhale and press into the legs, sitting up nice and tall. One more nice deep breath here. And then release. We're going to draw those knees up and stretch out both legs. One more forward fold. Find that great alignment, hips, knees, and ankles. Toes come back towards you. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold from the hips, reaching out towards the feet. Noticing that change that's already happened. Lift that chest. We're thinking about heart moving forward. Fold from your hips instead of rounding the back. 2 or 3 more breaths. And then release. Inhale, come up. Roll those shoulders back. We'll bring our hands to our sides, scoot forward, and then slowly coming down. You could hold on or you could challenge your core. Release. All right, hips, knees, and ankles in alignment. Lift the hips, let your lower back be flat to the mat. Taking a couple of breaths here. Relax the spine for a moment. We're going to include some core work. So it's up to you. I'm going to give you a couple of variations. Bringing your feet up off the ground. We're going to bring our knees over our hips. Now, just right now, I want you to notice the engagement through the belly. how you have to think about this area to keep that lower back close to the mat. Now, you can stay here and hold, keeping those arms to the side, pressing into the palms and shoulders, and you can straighten the legs and then bend them. If you want to really challenge yourself and you have the core strength, you can bring the arms overhead first and then lift up the chest, and the arms are going to drop down, pulsing 3 times, and then release. Stage 3, only if you have the strength. Listen to yourself. Don't let that lower back peel up off the mat. You can straighten the legs, bringing the arms down, and then bend the knees, bring the arms back overhead. So we exhale, we lift up, straighten the legs, and pulse. And then we bend the knees, arms come back overhead, and we relax. So again, exhale, lift up, little stretch through the legs, engaging the core, and then release. Big stretch with the arms overhead, relaxing, and then pulse. And release. 3 more. Really pushing wherever you are, whatever this pose looks like for you. 2 more. And we'll do 1 more. Exhaling, coming up. Release. Bring those arms overhead. And then relax the body by bringing the knees in towards the chest. And maybe you rock or you circle. And then we'll release those feet back down to the ground. Realign your position so your lower back is flat on the mat. We're going to extend the left leg out. First option is just lifting up that leg and lowering down. Nice and slow. The slower the better. Second option, right arm extends overhead. Keeping the head on the mat, we just cross over and touch the knee and then go back down. Final option is lifting up off the mat and reaching that right arm across the left leg and then lowering back down. Think about exhaling as you lift and then inhale, lower down. Slow movements really allow us to focus that energy on engaging the whole belly and core area. Nice deep breaths. If you feel any tension building up through the neck, just put it back on the mat, touching the hand to the shin or the knee. We're going to do 2 more. Last one. Release down. Bring that knee back up. Relax the right arm. Take a breath or 2. Release the body. And then this time, right leg extends. Same options. Pressing into that left foot. We can just lift the leg and then lower. This is a great workout as well. We can incorporate that left arm by touching the knee or the shin with the head, neck, and shoulders on the mat. Or we can do that crunch and lift and cross the left arm to the other side and then lower down. Completely up to you. Listen to your body. Remember, alignment is what's key. We get the most when we focus in on having good alignment over trying to push ourselves too far. We exhale and lift. Inhale and lower. right, 3 more. Last 2. And 1 more. Take that left leg out to meet the right. Reach both arms overhead. Find a big stretch through the abs. Nice release here. And then relax. Relax the upper body. We're going to lift both knees up. Lift the hips. Let your lower back fall close to the mat. We're going to come into the figure 4s. So we'll extend the right leg, and then ankle comes across to the left knee. Your goal is to draw that right knee towards the front of your mat. We can stay here. We could lift the left leg up and bring the hands or a strap behind the left knee, pressing that right knee towards the ground. Or if you want a big stretch, you can extend that left heel overhead. You could even have a bent knee here and just pull a little bit more, reversing that blood flow with that left foot slightly towards the sky. Wherever you are, find a position that gets you the most for opening up through that hip area. We'll take a couple of more breaths here. If that left leg is up, we'll release the leg down, release the hands or the strap, left foot hits the ground. Everyone then extends that right leg out long, and then lift the knee back up towards the sky, foot hits the ground. This time left leg extends. We find that length, lift, and then bring it across, ankle towards the right knee. Press your left knee towards the front left corner of your mat. And again, there's that option to lift the right foot up off the ground, hands or strap behind the right knee. And again, that knee, the leg could be parallel. You could have the heel towards the sky, or just a nice bend through that right leg with the toes pointed to the sky, reversing blood flow a little bit while opening up through the hips. Remember, it's especially important if you have that right foot up off the ground that we still remain relaxed through the head, neck, and shoulders. Let's take a couple of more breaths here. One more deep breath. If that leg is up, we start by releasing, bending the knee. Then we relax the arms, let the foot hit the ground. Left leg extends for everyone, reaches out long. Right leg goes to meet it. One more big stretch through the front of the body, arms overhead. And then release. Draw those knees back up. Have the arms in whatever position is comfortable, be that out like a T or a cross or just next to you. On the side, hips, knees, and ankles in alignment. And we're going to let the knees hang to one side, roll onto the outside of one foot, the inside of the other. Back to center and across to the other side. Moving at your own pace. Listening to your body. Maybe you hold one side for a second longer. You might feel this through the hips or the lower back. The goal is to just relax the upper body and move from that middle and lower spine into the hips. Take a few more breaths here, just moving at your own pace. Let's do one more full round, both sides. And then we'll come back to center. We'll draw the knees in towards the chest. Hug them in tight. Maybe you circle or you rock, giving that lower back a little bit of a massage. We'll let the feet hit the ground. Bring the arms next to your body so that the palms are by the hips. Press into the palms and shoulders with the chin lifted towards the sky. Reversing blood flow will bring the knees to the chest and then toes to the sky. Nice bend through the knees. You have to engage the core to have the legs up. If you have the flexibility, you could push the heels towards the sky. If you want to work on the flexibility, grabbing that strap, this is a great opportunity to use this on your feet and push out, and then use the arms pulling on this strap to draw it higher and higher towards the sky. So we can keep that body relaxed, but we can get that great stretch by pulling on the balls of the feet here. Taking a couple of more breaths. And then release, bending the knees, hug them in nice and tight. You can take a moment and bring your feet down to the mat, or if you'd like, you can join me in a happy baby pose. So, traditional method is bringing the hands to the inside of the knees and the elbows to the inside of the knees and the hands to the outside of the feet. And then we draw the feet towards the sky and we use the hands to pull down, bringing the knees towards the chest. That's not always an option for everyone. So again, we can take a strap and we can bring it around our feet and then bring the feet up nice and high to the sky and then use that strap to pull down so that the knees come a little bit closer to our chest. With this method, the arms are on the outside of the knees here so we can pull on that strap evenly. While you're in this pose, you have the option to straighten the legs or rock from side to side. It's going to be whatever feels good, or just rest with those knees to the sky for a moment as we take 2 or 3 more breaths in our happy baby pose. Opening up through the hips, relaxing that upper body. One more breath. And then release the feet or the strap. Everyone draws the knees in towards the chest for a big stretch. And then we're going to rock from side to side. So we're going to roll over onto one side, finding a comfortable position for a moment, rolling onto the temple and the one side, and then let the knee open with the arm pull you across to the other side. So opening up our hips, getting a nice little back massage as we roll from side to side. Move at your own pace. Really focus on letting that one leg open until it pulls your whole body across to the other side. Let's do one more complete round, both sides. On that second side, we'll just come back to center. Draw the knees in towards the chest. Let the feet hit the ground. And we'll end this session with our twist. So bring the arms out like a T or a cross. Palms and shoulders press into the mat, or bend at the elbows 90 degrees, palms facing the sky. Lift the hips, move them to one side, and then draw your knees in towards your chest and then let them hang to the other side. If your knees went to the left, let your right shoulder peel up off the mat. Our goal is to have our knees stacked if possible. allowing our hips to be stacked as well, creating a nice straight spine with a gentle twist using gravity. You can turn and look the other direction if that feels good. Completely up to you. Two more breaths. And then we'll release. Relax the spine. Come back to center. Pause. Maybe bring the knees into the chest for a breath if that feels good. And then back to the ground with the feet. Arms back to whatever position was comfortable. And then lift the hips other side. Knees to chest. Across. And let that opposite shoulder peel up off the mat. Again, turning and looking to the other side only if it feels good. Trying to get those knees over each other, hips stacked, so we have a nice straight spine. Couple more breaths. And then release. Relax. Come back to center. Lift the hips. Everyone draw the knees in towards the chest. Nice big hug. Maybe rock or circle. And then release. Feet to the ground. Stretch out the legs nice and long. Spending one final moment in Shavasana, relaxing our spine after those twists. Feet are at least hips distance apart, if not more than shoulder width. Palms go to the sky, lots of space between the arms and the side of your body. Relax the eyes so we can relax the space between them. Resting, fully relaxing the jaw, letting the shoulders fall closer to the mat. And the limbs feel nice and heavy into the earth. It's so important to take this moment, especially after twists, to allow our body to relax. Let our breath return to its natural rhythm. And just let your spine be in a neutral position. Hips are nice and level and neutral as well. Moment of rest after all the hard work you put in today. Few more breaths. If you find the mind wandering, you can place one hand on the heart, one on the belly, and just feel that rise and fall of the breath. Just a couple of more breaths here. Relax every inch of your body a little bit more. And then start by wiggling the fingers and the toes. We roll the wrists and the ankles. Bring the feet together and the arms overhead for a big stretch through the whole body. And then lift one knee and then the other. Then lift the hips, move them to one side so you can roll to the other. Slowly push up into a seated position whenever you're ready. Take a couple of breaths. Maybe you circle, or you roll the shoulders, or you sit in stillness. Take a few breaths here. Whatever feels good. And then finding that center neutral position, we'll let that smile wash over, and with a big inhale, arms up, big stretch. Exhaling, hands down to the heart. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed today's session.